Good afternoon everybody and welcome to Facebook Live. My name is Lindy Smith and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these little butterflies. Now there's actually two on this cake and I will show you the other one in a little while. Now this cake was made for last weekend's Cake International exhibition. I was doing a demonstration in one of the theatres and created this so I could show off a number of techniques. So I did the chocolate drips, as you can see, and also these gelatin baubles and the three-dimensional butterflies. Now there's something I did quite a while ago, but I've not used the colour stenciling before on these particular ones. So I thought they would work perfectly on this cake, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. Now if you'd like to say hello, please do, and we've got some thumbs up and hearts already. That's fantastic, thank you. I do like to know you're watching me. If you've got questions at any point, just pop them up and I'll do my best to answer them. But now what I'm going to do is move this cake out of the way and I will start to show you what you need. So bear with me, it's quite a big cake, this one. You can see, you can see the top one, there you go. Right, I'll give you a close-up of that in a little bit. But what I'm going to do now is to flip the camera and show you what you're going to need. You're not going to need too many things, but so I'm using a new phone, so I'm not used to filming with it, but we'll see if it's better than my tablet. Okay, so here we have the butterfly cutter, and this is one of my own ones, so it's stainless steel. Hi Sharon, lovely to see you here. And I developed it because I wanted to use these wonderful stencils. Now these are designer stencils, they come in a pack of 3, and the one that my cutter goes with is this bottom one. It's a beautifully detailed stencil, as you'll see in a little moment. You'll also need a craft knife, you'll need some paint brushes, you'll need a little bit of royal icing in a tube, and a selection of colourful dusts. Obviously these are food grade dusts. Now the very first thing you'll need to do is to make the butterfly beautifully firm, and the way I do this is by making it in 2 layers. So the first thing I do is to make a pastelage former. Now here I've got the cutter and I've cut out a simple shape, and as you can see I've just cut it in 2, so you've got 2 separate wings. Sandy's popped on and she said she absolutely loves my tutorials and she thinks I'm amazing, and she's from Pennsylvania. Hello Sandy, thank you very much, it's very encouraging. I do like doing these, but sometimes it's a little bit nerve-wracking because I know so many people watch them. Okay, the other thing you're going to need is, let me zoom over here, some spacers so you can roll out your paste nice and thinly, and some smoother. And I've got some close-ups over here of some ones I've done earlier. So what I'm going to do now is pop my camera up onto the stand over here, and then I'm going to show you what to do next. So as I've already said, the first thing you need to do is to cut out the 2 halves with pastelage. So as you can see, these are nice and firm. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to let those dry overnight really, because pastelage needs to dry thoroughly. And when that's nice and hard, and it's pastelage is lovely. I've got a blog all about it, so I will put a link up afterwards for that. It's a sugar that remains beautifully hard. So you see it doesn't wilt in moisture. So that's why I'm using it as a base, because I want to keep this cake for a while and I want my butterflies to look like butterflies. I don't want them to wilt and not look attractive. So that's why I'm using a pastelage base. What I've done here is I rolled out some modelling paste, which is underneath this stencil, and then I've placed the stencil on top. And what I've done is I've pressed down on the smoother so that it forces the the modelling paste up to the top surface. Right, we've got Jeanette saying hello from the Philippines and Gabby from Costa Rica. Gosh, we're right around the world, aren't we? I thought I'd try it a little bit later to see who else pops on here. So obviously we've got more people from the States than if I do it early in the morning. Okay, so we've got to add some colour. So what I'm going to do is bring in my dusts. Now it's obviously entirely up to you what colours you use, but I suggest you choose some that really appeal to you. If I move the camera a little way that way, you can see the ones that I have done already. And you want to have a selection of paintbrushes. I tend to have 1 paintbrush for each colour so that they don't get muddied up. So I've got this lovely astral pink colour, and I'm just going to start on the top of the the butterfly here. Now, obviously with a butterfly, you want it symmetrical because butterfly markings, I believe, are always the same on both wings, but obviously it's entirely up to you. So I'm just adding little bits of pink. So then I'm going to put my brush down and get another brush, and this time I'm going to get a little bit of, I think maybe the dark orange here. What you'll find if you don't change brushes is that the colours, depending which colours you're using, can get a little bit muddy because as you mix colours together, they always end up going brown. So by using one brush for each colour, it helps ensure that the colours stay nice and bright and sharp. Okay, I'm going to use a yellow one now. And I think the yellow next to the pink looks beautiful, so we'll put some up there. Really, really vibrant. That way. So every one I do is different, which is rather nice. You can, of course, make them all the same if you want to. It's just I like to experiment and see what I can do. We've got hello from Christina in Argentina. We're sending me lots of hearts. That's very sweet of you. I do love hearts. Fantastic. All right, now I'm going to swap again. This time I'm going to use the darker red colour, which is over here. It's more of a pinky red, really. Oh, I need a bit more on that brush, don't I? Now, with the dusting, whatever colour you put on first gives you the dominant colour. You can dust on top of a colour to change it, but you tend to change the tone rather than the colour itself. So whatever you put on first will be, as I say, the dominant colour. So there we go. I'm going to put a little bit of pink over that really bright pink to maybe tone it down a little, and maybe put a little bit up here as well. Okay, so at the moment it looks a little bit messy because you can see all the excess dust. So this is where I bring in one of these big brushes and very carefully just remove the dust that's lying on the stencil itself. Now the next thing to do is to, just move that out of the way, is to reveal the pattern. And this is a bit I really love doing. So just literally peel it away. So now you can see the stencil itself. And underneath you have a beautiful butterfly. Now anyone can do this technique. It's really very straightforward. It's a bit like, I think, colouring by numbers. I've got a lovely comment saying from Brenda. It says, your cake art is just amazing. Thank you so much. That's lovely. And we've got hello from, or hi from Gladys in Ecuador as well. It's lovely that so many of you are joining me. Now the next thing is to place your cutter, which, as I said earlier, is designed to be able to cut out this butterfly beautifully. Now originally I did it with a craft knife, and what I was finding, of course, that you don't get a perfectly symmetrical butterfly, and you don't get a nice edge either. If I just pick this up and zoom in, you'll see a little bit better what I mean. So it fits the cutter. Okay, so I'll pop that back. So what I'm going to do is make sure I've got it, that I've placed it on symmetrically, and then I'm going to press down. I'm just going to go all round this just to make sure I've got a nice cut. Okay. Now these cutters are quite sharp actually, so you have to be careful when you're pressing down. But there we go. And then what I'm going to do is remove the excess paste, like so. And I'm left with a beautiful butterfly. But you noticed earlier, I think, that I actually cut the wings away because I'm going to make a separate body. So I'm just going to cut that away and this away, like so. So he no longer has a body because I'm going to add one in a moment or two. And this is where I'm going to bring in the pastelage, because now I have to stick this wing onto this firm pastelage. Now a tip here with your pastelage is to smooth the edge with a craft knife. So if I bring it up to the camera, it's this way, you just literally just go over the edges with a craft knife. You often find with pastelage that you get a little slight feathering, but this basically makes it beautifully smooth. So that's just a little tip for you. Right, the next thing we need is some sugar glue. So I'm just going to place some sugar glue onto my pastelage wing. And now I'm going to have to put that down and get my palette knife now, which I've got this side here. So I'm going to pick this this one up like so, and then it's going to be placed on the wing. And it should be a perfect match, of course, because I've used the same cutter for the underside as well as the top. But I've just got to manoeuvre it into place and make sure that, oh, I must keep it in front of the camera, otherwise you won't be able to see. Okay, so that's the first one. And then I've got to do exactly the same for the second one. So pop that back. So this is the second one. And again, just a bit of glue. Just helps it to stick. And then pop that on, like so. Okay. Right, like so. There is a question here. Let's shoot. Is there another name for that? For that, I've never heard of it in Australia. Are you talking about the pastelage, Kylie, or is it something else? I will have to look at this afterwards and answer you, I'm afraid. The pastelage I will give you a link to so that you can easily see. It's basically the one I use. It's like a royal icing with a gum, and the gum means that I can roll it out nice and thinly, and it means it sets and it's beautifully hard. So now I've got two beautiful butterfly wings. And before I do anything more, I've got to make a body. Now over here you can see I've made a body on this one. Now these are just very simple stylized bodies. Although when I was doing this, I actually did get a butterfly book out just to get the basic shape. So what I'm doing here is I've got some white modelling paste, and I'll try and do this in front of the camera. So I'm just rolling a ball initially, like that. So I've got a ball in my hand. I'm going to make it into a sausage. I've got a little bit more than I need here, so that's probably long enough. Let me just try it on there. So I'm going to take that extra bit off. Okay, so we've got about the right length. Okay, so I want to probably make the head a little bit smaller. So I'll bring it back in again. And then I'm going to do it between my fingers to make a difference there. So we've got a nice head now. Just place it on here. Whoops. So now I'm just going to put that one between my thumb and finger. I'm doing it at a funny angle here, so it's a little bit tricky. And then this last bit, I'm just going to thin the very end. And again, this is going to be too long, but I'm literally going to do it. So I think there. So pinch that away, and then you've got a basic body shape. Now you can, if you want to, put markings on the end here, and you can just do that with a tool. And usually I roll it at the same time so it goes all the way around. But if I bring that in, you just get some markings on the abdomen. Now, if I just stuck those flat, the butterfly wouldn't look like he was flying, or she was flying. So what I do is I use, I'll just move that one, I make a former. Now this, I've tried to show you this. This is a bit of, can you see, cardboard that I've folded in half. I've then put on some wax paper and I've secured it in there. So it makes, I can make a V shape. And what I'm going to do is put one of the wings that side, one this side, and then the body is going to go in the middle, like so. Okay, so that, once I've stuck it, will dry like that. So you can stick it with some sugar glue, or you can use some royal icing, because if I bring this one in, which is the one another one I did yesterday. Now this one's slightly different. This one was done with the same stencil, but actually I've done royal icing on it rather than the colours. But you can see, if I pick it up underneath, whoops, I've got a little bit of the royal icing just used as glue to stick it. Now at this stage, what you need to do is to add some antennae. Now you can see on this one, hopefully, if I bring it in, it's got two little stamens which I've used as antennae. So what you do is you get your stamens. I've got some little yellow ones here that I've cut, and if I just put this down, I might be able to do this. Sometimes I find the stamens are nice and firm and I can push them straight in, and other times you need to make a hole first. Okay, so that one's gone in, so that's fine. If I bring it up, you can see, and you obviously need two. Now once they've dried, the ones on my cake all had little fluffy bodies, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So if I put that down there, and for this I'm using royal icing. Oh, I've got lots of hellos. We've got one from Turkey. I was wondering, is there any way to stop the dust from smudging when touched? What I find to stop the dust is that the paste usually absorbs it. So when it's fresh, then you do smudge it very easily. Once it sets, it actually gets absorbed by the sugar. So I find that it's normally okay. You can, however, spray it with some edible glaze. If you get a spray of glaze, hold it away from the butterfly though, because if you hold it too close, what happens is it can like run and smudge. But if you just do it from a distance and you do a number of thin layers, then what you'll find is that will set it beautifully. Now, I'm actually going to pick this up, I think, because this one's all set. I'm going to pick this up and just show you. So if I bring this in, hopefully the camera will focus, and I'm just going to pipe some little dots here. Now I will bring in the main cake and show you how I've done it all over the ones on my cake. Now that just helps secure it, and then because this butterfly that I was copying or looking at for inspiration had a hairy body, I literally just put dots all over, but leaving the very, very top clear, because that was what the picture I was looking at was doing. And if you look here, I'm doing this quite randomly. And what I will do is once they set, I will pipe in between. So it's, oh, needs to focus. So, you can do whatever you want, because this is really a fantasy butterfly. But I always tend to look at the real thing just to give me inspiration. So what I'm going to do is to bring the cake back in and show you the close-up of the finished butterflies. So if I move that out of the way, if you've got any questions that I haven't answered, then I will pop on afterwards and answer them for you. So I'm using a new device today to do the filming, so I actually can't see as many questions all at once. So let me just bring this cake in, and then I'll pick up the camera and show you before I flip it back to me. Okay, so we've got one up here. So that's that one. Now, can you see what I mean about it having not been piped all over the body? It's just sort of around the outside to make it look a little bit fluffy. And then the other one is this one here. And that's the one you saw earlier. And I've stuck them on, if I go underneath, you'll probably see, I've stuck them on with some royal icing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera back to me, and if you've got any more questions or ones I haven't answered yet, then ask me. Okay, so let me flip the camera. If I can press the button. There we go. Okay, right, so let me put this back over here. There we are. So, we'll twist it round a little so you can see. There we are. So that's the butterfly that I've just shown you how to make. Lots of expressions going across. Thank you so much. I do love to see you all the hearts and the thumbs up. And Kelly says it's beautiful. Thank you. This cake was very much admired at Cake International in London last weekend. And I think it inspired quite a few people to go away and make gelatin baubles and to make butterflies and to try chocolate drips as well. I had such fun doing it. I've also obviously got a few, that's a moulded flower on here, and some punched out flowers just to make it a little bit pretty. This is a design that actually didn't turn out quite as I thought it would. I had something in my head, as we often do, and it didn't quite work out. But it turned into this, and my son walked into the room because he was home during Easter, and he said, "Oh, I love that. It looks so yummy." And everyone at the show seemed to love it too. So I hope it inspires you and that you'd like to give these little butterflies a go. Right, Kylie says, "Wow, how did you make the balls?" There's already a Facebook Live post about that. And also on my blog, yesterday I think I published a whole blog all about these balls and how to make them with a recipe. So go on the Lindy's Cakes blog. That's the easiest place to find it. And then all will be revealed, as they say. I'll also put a link up to that for you. Okay, well, that's me for today. If you've got any further questions, then please pop on and do ask. Sandy's asking if I'm coming back to the States anytime soon. I would love to, Sandy. I just need a host and someone to organise it for me. I love coming to the States. I was over there, as you probably know, teaching my crafty class last summer up in Denver, and that was amazing. So I'd love to come back, but it needs to be organised, doesn't it? Everybody wants to me to go and teach, and it's lovely, but it all has to be organised. So anyway, that's it for now. If you've got, as I said before, if you've got questions, pop on, and if you've got suggestions for further classes, things you'd like me to show you, then do let me know. Okay then, bye bye.